Tonight, live, Jabber Jawn, the talk show where all you have to do is listen. It's so easy. It's so easy also to take it for granted that my funny as hell high school chemistry teacher, his extraordinarily talented musician son, and my dumbass get on the air and talk about whatever we want. It's a privilege that I personally just take as a natural thing, never even thought about it. But now when I think about it, what an amazing, not really a gift, but a freedom or opportunity that is to be able to sit in the studio and just wax poetic or stumble through subjects we barely know anything about or share stories that we hope connect with you all. It's beautiful and amazing also that you don't have to watch or listen to the show. If I had $1 for every one of you who reads this and also listens, I doubt I could buy a bus ticket to the next town over. But that's the beauty of it. We can do what we do, and you can join in if you want and completely ignore us if you want. It's magic. It's normal everyday life. It's just the way things are, or is it? I hope we are all paying attention and staying awake. Not to Jabber Jawn, but to our world, our way of life, our just the way things are beliefs. Things aren't just the way they are. That is a luxury. Things are earned and lost and passed along and discovered and fought for. Time to stop taking things for granted. And this is just the dumbass of the show spouting his 2 cents. Jabber Jawn is one of my luxuries. A gift to me from Mr. Moore and Nathan and Lex and all of you that tune in and watch the show. I'm not taking that for granted anymore. As Colbert said, when the elevator is going down, push a button for a higher floor. Jabber Jawn won't change your life, but believe me, it has changed mine. Thank you all for giving me the gift to sit in an easy chair and say whatever I want. I appreciate you all. You are not taken for granted. Kyle Hogg.
Frog sitting on a log, one of them fell in. One frog said to the other frog, well, you better go get it. Two little frogs sitting on a log, one of them fell in. Last little frog, he sat and thought, good thing they can swim. Jabber Jawn.
He said he cried.
Jabber Jawn.
Said a couple qualifications.
Jabber Jawn.
I hadn't read it, so I didn't know
Jabber Jawn. Three little frogs sitting on a log, one burst into a grin. One frog said to the other frog, wonder what's got into him. Two little frogs sitting on a log, one laughed until he was red. Last little frog, he sat and thought, must have been something I said. Jabber Jawn. Jabber Jawn.
Get stuck on this picture.
Jabber Jawn. Jabber Jawn.
Fixing shit.
Are those your puppets in there?
Mm-hmm.
God, we haven't done the puppets for a long time.
They're right there for you. Make it happen.
you got a hand free.
Here we are, boys.
Oh my goodness, and we are live. Welcome to Jabber Jawn. I'm Nathan Moore.
I'm the dumbass Kyle Hogg.
I'm Steve Moore.
Good to see everybody out there. We start with a arriving song and end with a leaving song. I think I'm gonna do this one here. Got Kyle Hogg on kazoo over here.
I'm on the pipe.
And Steve Moore on pipe.
Steve Moore laying pipe over here.
Hey!
Boys.
No one wants to hear what I have to say, so cover your ears as I say it anyway. I don't want your tears, I want you to stay. Stay right here as I go this way. That's it. My body is heady now, my toenails brown. My belly's already in a bar downtown. I still have ideas, I just don't write them down. Or if I do, I dig another hole in the ground. If you don't hang your gloves, you're gonna get beat. It ain't gonna be pretty if you can't take the hill retreat. Fight gravity if you will, but there's no way to cheat, and nobody's still on top of the heat. You got it. Standing in my betters in cigarette smoke, cutting into letters every word I spoke. Back when life was fighting and death was a joke, now I circle the wagon round a bruise I poke. Turns out if I might have been wise when young, it was by accident quite, and then only by tongue. Wasn't wisdom, was faith that sang what I sung. My glory was a fool's glory comes undone. And if you don't hang your gloves, you're gonna get beat. It ain't gonna be pretty if you can't take the hill retreat. Fight gravity if you will, but there's no way to cheat, and nobody's still on top of the heat. Go ahead. Always the writer, I'd say what I thought. I was a terrible hider. I wanted to get caught. I knew I was innocent, even if I was not. I loved naive. I believed what I thought. Oh, but I never thought a single truth about age. I knew not. No, I was writing the page, so I wrote, someday I'm gonna be a wise old sage. I had no idea then, I have no idea today. But if you don't hang your gloves, you're gonna get beat. It ain't gonna be pretty if you can't take the hill retreat. Fight gravity if you will, but there's no way to cheat, and nobody's still on top of the heat. Nice work.
Yeah.
And we're in.
Where's the oxygen mask?
Yeah, you can't do that in Colorado. You pass right out. Elevation gets you less oxygen up there. You know, a lot of the backstage rooms in Colorado at the ski towns, they have oxygen tanks for the musicians that are, because they've all traveled from somewhere else. They haven't acclimated to the elevation yet. And you might just need to hook yourself up to some oxygen in the green room. It's a little bit different in Colorado, the green room action.
See it on the sidelines, like in the sports too.
I bet.
Basketball and the football, they're over there on the sidelines using it.
Well, that was a little bit of a different tone for your intro this week than usual.
I know.
What,
Get me all shook
a
up.
little more heartfelt or something.
Yeah.
How would you describe it?
Well, we were talking about it on the way over here. It's almost just hard to believe. It's just, it's like the history books are like you're dreaming it, sort of. Like I just can't believe that this is going on now.
What is?
Just the Kimmel thing. It's just, I can't. And I've watched it, and I've watched him like almost every night. 100 things I've heard him say worse than what he did, you know. But I don't even think it's what he said. I think it was just embarrassing that Trump's response. I think Trump was so embarrassed by what he said. I'm doing fine. Look at the construction trucks. Like, that's your response
Oh, right.
to the question. I don't know. It's just, it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
But it did make me think how we can just sit here and say whatever we want, and they could easily just. I mean, nobody gives two shits about what
There's
we're
no
doing
one to
down
fire us.
Right.
I would have to make that call. So you guys better watch it over there.
door's
I don't
locked.
want to
We
hear
can't get in.
anything
We
out of
can't
you I
get
don't
in.
want to hear.
There
That's
are
all
a couple
I'm saying.
cars parked out front though that I've never seen before. So there's that.
But you do sort of take it for granted that we can say whatever we want. I mean, of course, we all monitor ourselves and use our common sense, but you know, it's just if it keeps spiraling down, you never know what's going to happen.
It's always a good move to when you're in a debilitating time or whatever, if you can find a way to get into a space of gratitude.
Right.
It's powerful stuff. It's a lot of times it's unfathomable, but if you can figure that out, you might be okay.
Right.
Gratitude's a powerful response.
Well, I started thinking too, because we laugh sometimes about the viewership we have and stuff. And I'm like, God, we even have one person paying attention to us. It's like really is a gift, it's, you know. And I was just thinking, just being able to sit down here with y'all, the stuff, the laughs I've had, and the stuff I've learned, and the, you know, people writing in with some silly thing. It really is. It's rewarding. It's so rewarding.
Hear, hear. Aho. Welcome to the show out there. We got Colorado to Virginia in the chat. We got Beach 777. What? Wonder who that is. Vicky?
Near the beach.
No. I don't think so.
How was your week, man, Dad?
Well, this has been a good week. I've had a much better week than last week. And just physically, I've been healthier. And that's helped a lot.
Yeah, it's,
And, you know, it's just an interesting time. And, you know, if you study much history, you see, you know, there's so many parallels along the way. And a lot of what I'm seeing in the last couple of days, for instance, reminds me of those Watergate days, which was just insane. Now, you would think, how crazy is this? But and that's what a new generation's going through right now. Is like, how crazy is this going to get? Because he's going to go as far as he can go, and that's his nature. And at some point, I do believe at some point he's going to go too far. And the question is, who's going to stand up and say, you've gone too far? And it's not really hard.
that was the thing that was amazing about the Watergate days is at least once the truth was revealed, his own party turned against Nixon and was like, no, this is beneath the dignity of the office.
That's exactly what
And
has to happen.
there was still a litmus test. There was some kind of line in the
he's got a lot of power and control and money, and he's going to use it the best he can. But you know, on some levels, it's very honest. You know, he could be doing a lot of the stuff under the table, and we wouldn't even know. But he's throwing it right in our faces, and you know, I honor him for that, because that should wake you up if you want to be woke up.
Right.
Maybe you don't want to be woke up. That's all right too. You can still watch us.
Right.
You know, that's the whole thing, is that I've worked on, is the idea that I can have friends that from both sides of the aisle. Right now, I could care less about Democrats and Republicans. To me, they both sold out. And that's what a lot of us feel like that ended up being MAGA, is because of that. We were just tired of being screwed by everybody up there. And we put our, you know, I say our, you know, if I'm speaking for them, I would say that, you know, he had some good ideas, but he's just gone too far, and it's gotten to his head, and it's time to rein him in. And all it takes is about 5 or 6 people to stand up at the right time, and and everybody just agreed that it's too much. I'm sorry. Good idea.
I'm not sure who those 5 or 6 people are anymore.
Well, you're going to have to step up to the plate.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
It is. I mean, it is. It's like a Nathan. There's a Nathan Scott McChesney in the chat. Brothers from another mother. 2 Nathan Scotts. I see you. He says, ask my mom. She said Nam was worse, the draft. But we just watched. It's funny that you brought up Watergate because we just watched a documentary on PBS on Saturday about Nixon in that whole time. And it's, you know from being alive back then, but as far as tumultuous times in America, that was still maybe even crazier than today, which is an interesting perspective that you possess, that the younger generations probably have no real sense of just how crazy the Vietnam era with civil rights,
there was a lot going down.
There's a lot going down, and a lot of violence.
You know, a lot of the stuff that's going on right now is being created to diverge from other things, and that's a strategy almost. But back then, this was just real shit going down.
People
all
getting
the time.
drafted into a war that made little sense. And
yeah. But you know, I said this about Vietnam all along. You know, because then we had those woke liberals that didn't believe we should be there, and they protested all the time. And then we had our hard-fighting guys that went on over there and served even though they didn't want to or didn't, but they did it because they were serving our country, and they deserve all that. You know, there was a lot of good in there, but there was that whole impasse that we're still seeing now. It's sad and that we can't get together on that. And, you know, a whole lot of it has to do with not the executive branch, but the legislative branch. The legislative branch has failed, and it started several years ago, and people have their own theories. But right now, we have, I'm not going to let y'all pass any laws because it'll make you look good. So they go to Washington and they don't try to pass laws to help people. They fight each other so that nobody gets any credit, and then nobody gets anything done. And that happened for too long, and that's what people got tired of. Nobody's really doing anything here. They're just talking. But so I don't know. We're at an interesting time, but it's not, if you study the history of the United States, we're not very old for one thing. And we've been in one thing after another, you know, all along. So the way we treated the Native Americans, and right on through the line, we've had, you know, we've done our best, I guess, but it hasn't always been pretty or respectable even. So here we go again.
here we are.
But, you know, the one thing that's interesting is it's hard to get away with anything anymore because of the internet and like that guy that killed the gentleman that, you know, that's raised. I mean, 20 years ago, he probably would have gotten away with it. He didn't leave a whole lot of evidence. But with the technology we've got today, he's dead meat in a day. So that's an interesting aspect of it.
That's true.
But, you know, I think we have to get beyond a lot of the surface stuff that you see on television and talk about where we are as a people and how we feel about each other. And I see in the social media just too much hate being used for fun. And that's wrong. And that's where it gets bred into other people that don't know how to handle it. And they end up buying a gun and killing somebody. It's just, we just start seeing each other as a human being no matter what, and respecting that. I'm sorry, I'm off my soap. I'll get off my soapbox.
Yeah, soapboxes aren't nothing wrong with a good soapbox.
Yeah, well, I don't want to go too far because we'll get taken off the air.
A third car just pulled up. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, it's easy to joke, but we haven't lost our job. The coolest person I've seen lately, by the way, was that former head of the CDC, that lady who spoke in front of the Senate yesterday.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, she was wonderful. She was just defending the world of science to people that want to do things politically and not look at the science. And she was eloquent. I thought she was great.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of good people out there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are unemployed.
Yeah, I feel so bad for all the good people out there,
Yeah.
just especially in government, that are just, you know,
Well-
no one's going to notice them at the moment. it's if you're just a good, hardworking, good-hearted person, the algorithms are not paying much attention to you at the moment. It's
No, but be patient.
even the podcasts I've been watching, or YouTube panel shows or whatever, you just realize even when they're trying to talk about division and communication and division in our culture and stuff like that, like, it is not incumbent upon them to really demonstrate proper behavior, because no one's going to watch it. Like, if they had just level-headed people discussing calmly things that could heal us, everyone's going to tune out. There needs to be some of this for them to get any ratings at all. So, like, even if you're trying to have the right conversation, you know Pierce Morgan's going to throw in this one character that's going to blow it up a little bit, because firecrackers.
Yeah.
You need that. They need those firecrackers just to be entertaining these days, and that tension between conflict being entertaining and the whole cooling of things that we need to have happen. That cooling is not going to really happen because the algorithms and the clicks aren't going to favor it. So you try to do the our numbers are proof of that. we're not going to get elevated until one of us gets really upset at the that conflict is just it's not new that we like that. But it is an interesting. I was just sitting there thinking, like, you're trying to have the right conversation, but you've stacked the deck so it becomes conflict, because that's what people want to see. And I'm not exactly sure how you can do that, how you can demonstrate what young people need to witness, what people need to experience, in a way that is also the algorithms and the viewership clicks towards. It's the right way to behave is a little boring by today's standards. I just don't know how you fix that.
Well, this is not to take it to the comedy side all of a sudden, but just into the story. If you don't know who's watching and you don't know how your behavior affects people, it's sort of embarrassing to tell you, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Stephanie came over last night. I haven't seen her for a couple of days, so she brought me some pasta salad. And it's only got to see her for like 10 minutes. And when you know the road I live on, there's really no reason to go down my road unless you live on it. It doesn't lead anywhere. There's no reason to come down that road. But every morning when I go to work, as I'm going to the car, somebody comes up to that stop sign. I got to wait for them to go by. And so Stephanie came over, and I was walking her to the car, and she had the door open, and we were kissing and touching each other. Nothing gross, just,
Nothing gross.
Goodbye. And this car came up. I said, God darn it, I got to close the door. So I closed the door, the car went by, opened the door back up. We were,
Went back to your...
whatever. And another car was coming up from the park. And she goes, oh, stop at the car go by. I was like, man, screw them, whatever we're doing. Whenever the car stops, drives away. So five minutes later, I get a text from my mom. I drove by your house and saw you and Stephanie smooching out there. It was my mom that drove by. and I was so embarrassed.
You're just like smooching and flipping her off, or...
And I was like, holy crap. But so I texted Stephanie and said, "Oh my God, we were out there. That was my mom that drove by in that car. That I was like, fuck you, go by, But then the terrible thing is, so her car was parked real close to my car, and when she leaves my house, she just because I live on the corner here, she just backs up, does it, turns. So when she was leaving, I was wearing a big old pair of baggy sweatpants. And I bent over to moon her, and when I did, my pants just fell all the way to the ground by accident. So she thought my mom had seen that. So she's like, "Oh God, no, your mom didn't see that, did she?" But so then
I'm gonna have to drive by your house more often.
But so I was all embarrassed, like, God, why did I do that? I'm a grown ass man out there acting like a damn kid. So then I asked my mom, "What are you doing out at 10:30 at night?" And she said, "I was at the ATM machine." I was like, "Who's the irresponsible one here? You're an 80-year-old woman going to the ATM machine at 10:30 at night."
And then drives by her son's house. Because you're not on the way to the ATM machine down that road.
Well, she said she was hoping I'd be on the porch because she wanted to tell me something. But she said I drove up and y'all were smooching, so I didn't stop.
That's so funny.
So you never know who's watching, so you should always, whatever you're doing.
Let's back up and let me get this straight now. You were in the road that I walked down all the time,
Right.
and you had baggy sweatpants, and you pulled them down to moon a woman in that right out there in the front.
Yeah.
But somehow they slipped. And you gave a different kind of moon, or a more of a moon, or was it a moon with legs? What are we? I don't
Moon with
get-
legs.
I guess it
What's the
was.
difference between you just pulling down your pants and mooning?
Because they slipped out of
Stephanie,
they slipped
poor
out of my
Stephanie.
hands, and instead of just going down to the lower butt cheeks, they fell. And she started honking the horn to try to embarrass me. So
Well, if you weren't embarrassed in that position, I don't think you can get embarrassed.
but I was telling somebody at work about it, and they were like, "Oh my God,
Good Lord.
My friend was like, your mom still considers you like a little kid." Because she was a parent. She goes, "No matter how old your children are, they're like little kids." So she goes,
Well, yeah,
she said
in
she
this
saw,
Especially
she saw,
in your
I know,
case.
so she said, my friend said, she saw you out there making out with some woman that pulling your pants down. She's going to take you home and ground you and take away your phone privileges. You're going to be, Mom, I was just kidding. Give me that phone. No video games.
Is that true what he said about a parent always sees their child as a child?
Well, I think you see them as lots of things, but that's definitely not all the time. You don't look
Right.
at it. That would be silly, because there
Do
are a
you,
lot.
do you see me as like that?
I can remember moments when we had a different relationship based on me being the father and you being a little child. Yeah, but I don't live in that, and I don't think of you that way. Now, I'm just wondering about. I'm having trouble getting that image out of my head.
I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help.
Jeez.
No, next
To
time.
walk you back from the ledge.
I mean, I have to walk by there tomorrow morning, and I know I'm going to be staring.
I have to drive by there
I'll
at
have-
around 10:30 tonight.
But so Lex, your kids are not that old. How do you view them?
Oh yeah, I still see them. That is a fresher memory, I guess. That when they were younger and in the house and living and relying on us more. But I don't know.
Yeah, you're in that transition where you have to shift to seeing them as an adult, which probably will.
Yeah, we've been through that as a family. When you send your child to college, that's a real departure there, because you're letting go of all 18 years of that one relationship but when you let them go to college, and there's a physical departure from each other, but it's psychological and emotional. You're giving them their wings,
Right.
and it's just like watching those birds fly. Yeah, you're worried you didn't teach them right, and they're gonna go. And of course, if you go to college, that's exactly what happens. In the first 6 months, you're gonna into something.
Right.
Hopefully you'll get up and dust yourself off and get back in the
That's
race.
right.
That's interesting that's a common trajectory for that first 6 months. It's an interesting
Yeah,
observation. I can relate to that.
It's called a learning curve.
Right.
And,
It's one of the best ways to learn too. At the end of the day,
if it's,
you know.
you could argue it's the only way. Yeah. But the more that the key is to learn from your mistakes. If you can do that, you have a shot. If not, you're going into the pan.
Into the pan. Stephanie's in the chat. She says, I can neither confirm nor deny any of the events that Kyle has spoken about.
Hopefully my mom's not watching. I'm getting ready to drop my pants again.
Does your mom watch?
She says that she wants to, but she's afraid it would make me nervous if I knew she was watching. And I
So she watches, but she doesn't tell you.
Probably. She's at home now with her pants down watching. I can't believe it. Counting her money that she just got out of ATM.
Oh, gosh. Well, if she's watching, she's mad at you right now.
Oh, my God. When I got the text from her, I read it, and I was like, oh, my God. I had no idea that was her card. It's like, I almost like froze when I read it. I was like, oh, what am I doing? And then I'm like playing through my head, what was I doing? Did I say anything to the card? Did I give him an evil eye? Did I do anything? Oh,
God forget if we
So
gave
just
her
to
the
stay
evil eye.
on politics just for a second, I know it's something that we try to avoid just to create a safe space, but it's endlessly interesting to me. Like I mean, everybody can relate that there's this blue and red, left and right divide in the world, maybe even. But when you really think about that political spectrum, and like if we took that whiteboard and we wrote left over here and right over here and just started putting stuff on the spectrum of that, it's fascinating how that spectrum would cover everything from like economic theories of how the government should operate with businesses and stuff like that, from socialism to free market capitalism, but then like all these social things. And like it's so fascinating how that happened, or how that happens. Like why is there a left and a right?
But don't you think if you had left and right and then a middle, if you really don't think about what you read on the internet, but just the way your normal friends, whether they're Democrats or Republicans or they don't care at all, I think most of the stuff would be in the middle. I think most people agree they want good stuff. We get all fired. I'm not saying the world, me too. You get all fired up by this, somebody on the farthest realm of this one, the farthest realm of that one, yelling at each other. Then you have to I have to decide. But really, if we just said, who wants this, this, and this, most people, I would hope, or I would think most people want the same thing, sort of. Maybe a different way to get there, but, you know, I don't know. It's just...
How would you distinguish, if you were explaining to an alien that was just visiting our country and there's like, I keep seeing these things about the left and the right, like how would you explain it to them, what that difference is?
Gosh. I would say there's a monster in the White House poking us all with sticks, trying to drive us crazy.
But the left and right thing precedes that.
But did you really see it that way so much before he was around?
It's like Dad said back in the...
Yeah, it's always been.
It's sort of always been. Like the Nam stuff we were talking about. He had the woke liberals, he described them protesting the war and doing all that. And then you had the other people feeling like it was their responsibility to go.
Well, the responsibility, I mean, I do agree with that, but do you think anybody really wanted the war? Or is this, some people were like, it's America, we should respect that, and we should do, and then other people were like, no, why do we have to be involved in it? But I don't think anybody was, I guess there were people, but I don't think people were just like, yes, I think this war is great, and we should really go to Vietnam, and, you know, I don't know, I wasn't there.
No, I hear you. How would you explain to the alien what the left and the right was?
Yeah, that's a real hard thing because it varies from culture to culture. But you could just draw lines, say like um, a culture like when Captain Cook explored the South Seas, the English explorer, uh, when he would go to every island in the South Pacific, each island had a different culture. And he would end up in one, he'd come out and they were all cannibals. And the others were all peaceful, God loving, sharing, loving. So the culture had developed on each island in a certain way. And I think there are cultures all along through the study of history, a lot of cultures that depend on violence to control the populace and to get what they want. And, slavery is not something the British Isles invented. Slavery has been going on between Native Americans and South Americans and South Americans and Africans and Africans. Anytime you had a war, you won, you subjugated the people one way or another. You made slaves of them, and that's what's happened. Well, I don't think that works in the long run. But every culture, in other words, violence is one way. You go into a country and you take over it with violence, and we see that time after time. But those cultures, I always say, violence works in the short term, but it never works in the long term because it begets itself, and you end up chasing your tail, and you end up destroying yourself from inside because the violence doesn't stop. So I think so part of it is how do we control people? And that's something that each culture has to decide as it goes along through life. And we have a young culture here. America is a very young country, and we're still figuring ourselves out. So you could look at these are growing pains, but they also might be death pains if we don't play the card a little bit better, because we have the potential to ruin it and go back to bacteria again.
But like what he said about if you were to explain it to an alien, if you gave, I mean, the answer you gave was great. So if the alien said, so who's the one that wants control, the red or the blue? Would you have an answer for that?
The left or the right?
Well, the the blue I equate with the idea of my way or the highway, of saying this is the way, this is our country, this is the way we do it, and if you can't do it that way, we don't want you in our country.
That's the blue?
That would be, no, that's the red.
Right.
And the blue would be, we want to be inclusive and have everybody involved. Probably the answer to that particular question lies somewhere in between, because we found that keep letting them in, it just doesn't get better. But doing it without any heart and without any conscience is not healthy either. So I don't know.
Like that is, it's the thing that amazes me about that spectrum between like left and right is like any individual conversation like makes perfect sense. Like it's easy to sort of imagine a conservative is somebody that wants to preserve the past, and a progressive is somebody that wants to change things and move into a different future. And that tension is interesting. Like that tracks.
Yeah.
But then you take these other issues and they still work on the spectrum. Like the left is more of a socialist notion, whereas the right is more of like a free market economy kind of thing. And it's like, why does it all work in some weird way? Like why is someone that believes more in socialism also more likely to be pro-choice, is also more likely to be, like why do so many things get grafted onto this spectrum in a way that people, I personally never could relate to it. Like I always felt like I was all over the spectrum in a million different ways. But for most people, they're comfortable with all the things that could be attributed to them by being on a certain end of that spectrum. It's just so strange to me to a certain extent that so many different parts of government and life or whatever could be mapped onto this left and right paradigm in such an interesting way. Because you could talk about it just endlessly, just about economics or the role of government, and it fits. But then you can talk about homosexuality or like cultural things, and it graphs on. And it's like, wait a second, like how are these even related? Like, wouldn't why wouldn't you have a socialist concern? I don't know. Like, why isn't it more? How did that happen, or why does that happen? It's
I'm not sure I can. I don't. Were you expecting me to answer that?
I don't know.
But do you think that's a way of looking at it from like just from way up here? But then when you got closer, you'd realize, oh no, they don't really believe that. They don't really, you know. I mean, I agree with what you two. You think, all right, the red. You think they're bad. They don't understand that the world's got to change and stuff. But then I bet you if I was at a bar or a rest party or something, I could talk to somebody and they would just agree with everything I said. Then they go out, we're going to vote for, you know, the Republican tomorrow. I'd be like, you're going to vote for the Republican? Wow, we just had a totally normal conversation. We agreed on everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I know what you're saying, but I don't know if that just when you got down to, you know, specifics and not from a general view. But it is like you said, you know, I voted for him. And I don't like gays, and you know, abortion's bad. You tend to group all those things together.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't really think of somebody being like, you know, I voted for Obama and I love gay people, but I hate abortion. You just don't. You don't. You don't really. You don't in your mind hear that type of conversation.
Right.
So what you're saying is true. You do sort of, God, that's sort of like that's stereotyping people. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say too much and look like a real dumbass.
Throughout my working days, I've various companies and situations. We've gone through as companies these like kind of like team assessments where it's like a personality kind of test almost, and a lot of and there's various ones like Clifton Strengths or Strengths Finders or this or that. I can't remember all of them, but a lot of them end up kind of breaking it down to quadrants of your personality, the type of person you are, and it's, you know, and it's like 45 minutes worth of questions, you know, like just asking you if you don't agree, strongly don't agree to strongly agree, A, B, C, D, E, F, G for 45 minutes, right? And so throughout these, it takes all this data and compiles it and places you in this quadrant, and that's kind of your color or whatever, your quadrant. And I always thought, ever since I did one of those, I was like, this would be so fascinating if like the whole country participated in it. Because I think what you'd find is the definition of this blue and red thing is that you have people that are more futuristic thinking, they're more innovative, and so they think that way. They think about possibilities that haven't happened yet. They think about solutions that haven't been figured yet. You know, and then and they're big idea people, you know, and they're in one quadrant. And I think then you have more like traditional people that like the way things are, things like that. They don't seek change, and all of these are different personality traits. But I think you end up with a large group of people that can kind of share these things in common, and another large group of people that share these things more in common. But it doesn't mean that we can't like work together, which has always kind of been the dream of this democracy. You always had to have a point counterpoint, so that's where it probably all came from naturally. Couldn't just have everybody just spouting the same kind of ideas, and then it's just, well, who do you like to look at the best, right? So I I think it would be fascinating to know that about America, and maybe that's what we see through all these various studies. Is like where do Americans like fall in these quote unquote quadrants of personality traits, and how does that align with?
I think that is a fascinating aspect of it. That there is, like he's saying, that it's there's different types of people.
Right.
Yeah.
And I tend to think that what was beautiful about our system, even in a binary, was that the tension between those two different kinds of people sort of created the balance. That the healthy version of it is, well, you preserve the past and I'll progress us into the future.
Right.
And you're protecting something valuable and I'm protecting something valuable, and because we both can't be these superhuman people that possesses all these qualities, we sort of have our roles and our checks and balances.
Right.
Because it would be a shame if I forgot all the past that you're preserving, and it would be a shame if you were just stuck there without me progressing you forward. Like there's a beautiful balance that's
Right.
achieved through that tension.
It's a good point. I like that.
And I've always seen perfect examples of that in every idea I've ever explored or whatever. It's
Oh yeah, I agree.
Well, when you were saying, well, Lex was talking about it, and when you were saying, what I thought of is you have a red fireman over here and a blue fireman over here. They come together to put out the fire. They don't worry about what their beliefs are. They're searching for a goal to make something better, and that's sort of what you said. You can have different views, but you can come together to make Like the fireman, not one guy's going to be like, well, I would liked it better when we, did it with a bucket and stuff. And the other guy's, well, we got a hose. And there's like, well, I don't care what we do. Let's just get in there and make the fire, put the fire out.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is what needs to be done. We need to find like you said, they'll fight each other. You have a good idea, well, I'll just fight against it so you don't look good. That's never going to work.
Yeah, it's.
Oh, did yours die?
It might have died.
It was the one thing we didn't.
Just talk loud.
Well, I mean,
Just shout it.
Hey, you want my mic?
people, there's going to be all kinds of people, but kind of like what Steve said earlier, we're all human. Like we have to focus on how we're all human and treat each other, see each other that way, not so much. People are gonna have faults, man. You know what I mean? So, and I think we've dealt with that in our own lives. Like, there's certainly people that we have in our life that we don't agree with everything they think or say or do, but we still love them, because they're, you gotta be human. And so those firemen are human. They're putting out a fire that's, just a very human instinctual thing to do unless you're cold. So, need more of that. I guess,
Yeah.
right? But it's hard because there's God, we could talk for a week about this, but just how the technology is working against us. I just heard a thing on NPR today on the way to work how all these foreign bots are feeding the social networks with all the propaganda. Who had anything to do with this shooting last week?
Yeah, that's
countries,
just to keep with your metaphor and incorporating what Lex is observing, the algorithms and all that stuff sees the red firemen and the blue firemen that are working together on this one fire and just starts 5 more fires. Why don't we just start 5 fires? That'll tear them apart, because then they'll argue about which fire they should put out.
Yeah, that's so right.
And here we are.
Yeah.
We had this possibility
Right.
of uniting
That's so
around putting
true.
out this one fire, but hey, if we just start 5 more, then that's
Gosh,
where we are.
That's so true. Oh, that's good.
It's a good one, yeah.
I was reading a review of a book that just came out about this author. His theory is that one of the problems with the world is humans don't know how to be in awe anymore. Nothing, like, people don't just go out and climb up the top of a mountain and watch the sunset. He says how that just, it takes you out of your beliefs and stuff, and you're just like, oh my God, I'm part of this world. Or like a baby being born, you're just like, oh my God, you don't look at the baby being born, isn't it a Democrat or a Republican? You know, you're just in awe. He said that the computers and the phone and stuff, people are so centered on their own thing. Like you said, 5 fires have started, instead of looking up and seeing the sunrise, you know, which brings us all together, we can all see. And when I was reading, haven't read the book, but I read the review, and it really sounded like that is something that's missing. Like, I don't really hear anybody come to work like, oh my God, I saw the greatest thing. You know, it's like, I can't even describe it to you. You know, those type of conversations you hardly ever hear anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, we were talking about, like, to see you perform this last week, it is like an awe thing. Like, that whole audience seemed like I was family with all of them. I was sitting there like, God, this is perfect. What could be any better than this? Nobody's gonna get up here and punch anybody or do anything mean. I mean, I wanted to go hug everybody. I saw Lex, I couldn't wait to hug him. I couldn't wait to hug you. It's like, oh my God, I was in awe.
I think that shot of you mooning everybody. I thought that was a little overdone, but I appreciate the thought.
He
That
just
was
knew he
good
was
there.
safe.
I thought the boy had the right idea, but he just didn't he didn't know how to express himself.
But if we had all been in that room looking at our phones, you know, you'd have been like, yeah, God, what are they looking at? Oh, God, some stupid, you know, oh, God, that's the dumbest TV show I've ever seen. I hate that song you're playing. But when you're just sitting there as a group caught up in something, it really is it's a binding experience. It just takes you out of yourself and puts you in, like, you're part of the world. You're not the most important thing in the world, you know.
I'll tell you one that I do that helps me is I do that fantasy sports and I play ball games. So I watch the ball games every day and I'm studying the players. But one other thing I do is I watch the people in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And in the back, you just after 3 or 4 innings, you get to know them, and they're sharing their hot dog and they're talking, and they come in and you kind of, but you realize, because they'll show this panorama of 50,000 people in the Chicago Cubs and Wrigley Field, and there's 50,000 people, and they're all sitting there eating a hot dog and laughing and having a great time, and you just feel, wow.
Yeah.
They're paying $100 to do that, and I'm getting to sit here and do it for free. But that idea that you're joining in
Right.
into a family of things. So a lot of sports, when you go to a live football game or something like that, that's what people, you can feel that energy running through it.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be a performance like you, and of course you have watching Nathan last week. It was family, so it was even more emotional. But yeah, that whole deal of sharing with the human world, and that's what you don't get on the AI and the phones and the young people.
True.
These young people that we're talking about aren't getting that, so they go to places they can get it, and the internet is a sick source for that. Not nearly as good as the sunset. And I used to be able to walk in my neighborhood, but I ain't sure I'm going to be doing that anymore.
Careful out there.
You don't know what kind of thing.
Percy's all upset because Kethra is not in the house, so I'm gonna bring him down here and see if I get a little distracted hearing him barking like that.
Well,
Y'all carry it on.
all right. Let's see what.
Percy,
Well, let's talk about.
Come here, buddy.
Some things about Nathan you don't
Percy,
like.
come here.
It gets on your nerves.
Oh my God.
Come on. Come.
Oh, he's coming.
Let's go.
Back. We can't talk about that. But I wanted to bring up Sarah. I had a list of 4 things that really bothered me about him.
From when he was a kid or from nowadays?
Both. All along. It's just been bothering me for about 50 years. Been bothering me. But I don't know if this is the time, but we certainly don't want to do it when he's here.
Oh, I meant to tell you, we were making a bean salad last week, and we used one of the jalapenos you gave us, and it was the same thing. Stephanie tasted, she cut it and said, "How hot are they?" And I said, "Well, I ate one on the air and it was burning me up." So she cut the end of it off like Nathan did and ate it. She goes, "This isn't too bad." Then she took another bite and she's like, "Oh, it's hot." So she did want me to tell you that we used your garden grown.
Well, that's good.
Are you ready to hear your dad talk bad about you?
Yeah, I was just kidding.
Oh, wait, what did he say?
I was going to go over all the things that bothered me about you while you were gone, so I didn't want, 'cause I didn't want to hurt your feelings.
Well,
Good news, it was a short.
that's exactly where I was
It
going.
was only 4.
It was only 4.
Well, what we call the big 4.
The top 4.
But then if you break them down out from the subsetting.
Yeah, I mean, you got paragraphs underneath there. Nah, I ain't got no complaints. Well, I do, but I don't want to be a complainer.
Now, how did you feel up there when you were performing?
While I was performing?
Well, one thing that's I don't know if I just thought this after I said it or if Stephanie asked me why I said it. I remember, and I don't even know. I do feel this way, but I don't know why I did feel this way. When you were done, I went up there and gave you a hug. I said, "Man, I'm just so proud of you." Why I felt proud of you, I don't know, but I was just like, "Oh my God, Nathan, do you realize what you've just done?" I was just so. I was like, "Oh my God, I just wanted to squeeze you so tight." I was like, so proud of you. And then I don't know if Stephanie said, "Why are you proud of me?" or if I just thought it driving home, like, why did I tell you I was proud of you? You're probably like, proud of me for what? I don't know. It just seemed weird.
Well, that's called family.
What do you think that means?
That I was proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was just proud of how you came up. Like what I just said, you brought. I mean, the show was amazing. The whole show, 9 people before you were amazing, but it was like when you're making a burrito or something, everybody's got their little part, and then Nathan comes on, just sorry, the burrito's ready to eat now. Like it was like man, it was like the perfect way to wrap up the show. And like, here it is, eat it. The show is ready to go.
Great analogy. You're just full of yourself tonight. You're leaving me all kinds of images. Yeah, that sounds good. But I think that's part of feeling like you're part of the family, which we think of you as one. Speaking of that, who's going to Baker Ball?
Oh, we got Baker Ball Saturday. Lex is over there, womp, womp, womp. He's on his way to Richmond. He's going to have to miss it, but this Saturday is going to be the annual Baker Ball tournament. Are you coming out?
I'm heading to the beach Saturday.
Oh, my goodness.
For a week, so I'm not going to be here next week.
You might want to
either.
postpone that by a day.
Where are you going?
Nags Head.
Oh, really? Nags Head.
That's awesome.
Are you coming back? When are you coming back?
Next Saturday or Sunday.
Who are you
Next.
going with?
Stephanie and her 2 kids.
So
Wow.
no show next week.
Right.
Did y'all, hot tip. Kyle will be at the beach next week, so we'll be delaying it. But are y'all renting a house or anything?
That is my birthday present. Stephanie got a big old house for all of us. to
Oh,
stay in.
wow. That was like such a staple of my youth, because Nags Head, for whatever reason, it's like, I don't know why it's Nags Head, but everyone in Stanton in high school goes to Nags
Yeah.
Head for beach week.
Yeah.
That's our spring break. Or
Yeah.
How did that conduit
Well,
happen?
it started with several of the local families that had their same little place, the little section.
Was that
of
part
it.
of your growing up too?
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
a Stanton. It's so. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, the Eastmans started it at my end. We went down to their cabin and
Nags Head.
at Nags Head. Yeah, Kill Devil Hills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Place of flight.
Yeah, where the Wright brothers first
Yeah.
flew their plane. Yeah.
yeah, right in that area.
Kill Devil Hills.
So yeah, I spent some early years there too. And when you were a kid, we would go down there.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like a part of my family history, but then also like in high school, the juniors and seniors, they all went to Nags Head
Yeah.
for their summer, for their beach thing.
There's
And
certain families that got involved, and then it just caught on, and
it's so
you know,
interesting.
because they'd take friends, and just got to be the
I
place.
mean, it's
to
not
go.
Virginia Beach. It's not. I mean, you would think that, but
Yeah,
it
always
is so
Nags Head.
interesting.
Yeah.
But we all sort of share that.
It was like,
Then it was more remote. Back then it was, well, not remote, but it wasn't as built.
oh
as it is
yeah,
now,
it was a
so
lot different. Yeah,
and Virginia Beach was, so it was probably nice to be down there.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if they still have all the things like arcades and putt and like all the tourists. all
I
the-
think they
it
have
is?
more than ever.
Oh, good. I sort of want to go. You got room for 3 more?
She's got 6 rooms. It is like, in New Jersey. All the beaches have like, it's like a boardwalk, and so people would go, God, we went to Nags Head. What do y'all do in Nags Head? There's nothing down there, it's just the beach. And I was like, well, I mean, you can go away from the beach, but you know, the New Jersey is right on the beach, games and you know all that stuff. They're like, man, what do y'all do down there? It's like, man, you just go down to the beach and have a good time. But it
Will
was
you
funny.
bring me back some saltwater taffy?
I will.
I would-
But it was funny to be talking about, like we did the same thing. My family, since as far as I can remember, every summer we went to Nags Head,
Really.
and I loved it. But I was like, God, I'm 15, and the only vacation I've ever been on is Nags Head. Can we go somewhere else one time? You know. So I was just like, there was always a different part of Nags Head, or whatever. But then when I started dating my wife and started hanging out with her family, where'd they go? She's like, we're going on vacation. You want to go with us? Yes, finally. Where are you going? Nags Head. I was like, oh my God, you know. Please, it's not the only vacation. But people would tell us, we went to Tennessee, I went to New York, I went to, you know, where'd you go? Nags Head
Nags
again.
Do you know where the Nag's Head comes from?
I guess from the horses, doesn't it?
Go on.
They found it. Actually, when we were there one time, my brother-in-law hit a horse
Oh wow.
with his car, with his truck, and killed it. He had to take therapy for that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that back in the day, instead of a lighthouse, they had a horse with a lantern hanging from its neck walking up and down the
Oh
shore
my gosh.
to show boats where shore was so they didn't crash into the shore. And they were like, oh, got to stop. There's Nag's Head. The Nag's Head
Oh my
walking up and down. Is
Never heard that.
You never heard that? I
Never
might
heard
just be making that
I've never not heard it.
up. I never not
Wait a
heard
minute,
it.
so they just trusted a horse to walk up and down the beach all night?
Well, it was probably guided by somebody, or maybe somebody rode the horse.
The church
or-
warden was on it.
right.
I see a glowing pipe. It must be the church warden riding a horse. Abort course.
Have you ever done the hang gliders?
My dad did that.
But you didn't?
Yeah, I was telling Stephanie because we were talking. She wanted to go to walk the Kill Devil Hills thing, and this friend of mine, he just, you know, you go down there with your friends, you're drinking and carrying on and stuff. So he had brought a full body ski suit, like you'd go to, you know, ski. He thought it'd be funny to wear that walking up through the dunes. And we're like, dude, this could be hot up there. No, I can do it. And I was telling Stephanie, he almost passed out on the way back. That they unzipped it, but sweat was just trapped in there. And
Oh, my
we had to like
goodness.
help him back to the car.
He lost 20 pounds.
Like, dude, we had a full ski suit on and a cowboy hat, thinking he was gonna be, you know, get some attention or something. Dude could barely walk. I do remember my dad and my uncle did they were maybe like 4 feet off the ground doing the hang gliding. And you run and it just, you know, if you put your feet down, it'd probably drag through the thing. But it was pretty exciting to watch him do it. Did you ever do it?
No. I doubted myself when I said no. I was like, wait a second.
Did
Did I just have a memory? Because I've definitely been close to it, but I don't think I ever did it.
Did the crash jog the memory out of my head? I was probably too cheap to ever pay for it once I was down there on my own.
Have you ever parachuted? Do you ever parachute?
No.
Then in
We
hot
have a
air
place
balloon.
really close by where you can go pay them so much money and jump out of a plane with a parachute. You never done that, right?
No, I've been in a hot air balloon.
Oh, you tell us that story.
Well, I'm petrified of heights, but for some reason it didn't seem scary once I got up there.
Interesting.
I think it was my grandmother's like 80th birthday or something. So it was me, my mom, my grandmother, my mom's brother, and somebody else, and the guy running the thing.
Where'd you do that?
Oh, what's that? It's in Charlottesville. Like that's what is that place called? What's that sort of fancy country club in Charlottesville?
No idea. But you were untethered?
Yeah, we went up. You go a couple of miles and you land in somebody's field, and they haul you back.
How do they steer it?
Man, I don't know.
It was just a classic. It was just a classic hot air balloon with
Yeah.
one giant balloon, and
Well,
you're in
the-
a basket,
Right? Well,
How do you steer it?
the main thing I remember, I just had shoulder surgery, and it's basically the guy that, the guy flying it, and then people in the thing have to do all the work to get it, up. And he was like, everybody has to hold the thing. So it's my 80-year-old grandmother. I wasn't counting on her to hold too much, My mom was like 60.
Heave!
My
Ho!
mom was like 60 then. Her brother was a little bit older. So I was like maybe, I don't know how old I was, in my 30s maybe, trying to hold it. I just had shoulder surgery like 3 or 4. Like, it hurts so bad. I was like, please let us get in. I can't hold this thing. But you get in there and they cut the ropes or throw the ropes off and you just take off. I don't know how he controls it.
Yeah, I can't imagine how you steer it.
We all had paddles.
I can
remember.
picture the going up and down by heating the air
Right.
inside.
No, because then he would say, who wants to brush the trees? And he would bring it down, like just go through the top of the trees, give you a little bit of a
Wow.
thrill.
But aren't you just sort of at the mercy of the wind or something?
Yeah, I think but I know he checked the weather. He did say these aren't guaranteed. I remember my mom said when we get up there, when we get there, he might just say because of the conditions we can't do it. Oh, but that was fun.
Would you skydive now? Because it's a tandem thing.
Right, they're like on your back,
Yeah.
and they're doing it. I feel like I would do it. But I would have to be peer pressured. I don't know. I wouldn't. It's nothing I would ever do for myself. But if y'all like blindfolded me and took me there, and you're like, I got you this for your birthday. Don't do this.
I could never like step off of it by myself. Like I get scared even like when we used to go to King's Dominion, they had the Eiffel Tower there. And I would get near the edge. I'd tell my friends, "Don't touch me! Just stay away from me!" Because I was afraid I was gonna like somehow go 10 feet in the air and flip over this railing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like no balance. Like everybody, stay away from me. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that feeling in the pit of your
Yeah.
stomach is so strange. But
Like I feel like if I was standing on something this wide, up like 40 feet in the air, I wouldn't be able to walk on it. I would just fall for some reason. Like, oh, I can't walk on that.
it is amazing what your brain does there. Because like right here, you could stand on it
Yeah, all
fine.
day.
Take the same surface area, lift it 10 feet off the ground,
Yeah.
and suddenly it's so funny how the brain is like that. Every now and again, there's people that their brains aren't like that. Even ladders, like some people can just go all the way to the top,
Oh yeah.
and it's just so fascinating to me.
Carrying stuff.
Yeah, like walk right to the edge of the roof, and it's so fascinating. I feel like we recently had the same conversation, but it's still endlessly fascinating to me that like the pitch of our roof. If you put it on the ground, I could walk right down to the gutter.
Right.
And, oh, sorry, Percy, and just be like, I
Right.
could be like this,
Leaning over.
leaning over, like putting one foot off or whatever, like that change in perspective. But then you put it where it is at that height, and I can't get anywhere near the edge. Like, and it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy because you're so freaked out by the perspective and the potential danger and everything that you're bound to fall off.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
Are you afraid of heights?
Not unduly.
Can you go up? Would you go up a ladder like without.
I can go up a ladder
Mm-hmm.
if I trust the ladder, and
Right.
but if I get over 10 or 15 feet, then I start worrying about falling and hurting myself.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's legitimate fear. It's not a phobia. In other words, I'm pretty normal about that.
Right.
Now, see, like water, I'm not going to get near water over my head because I would drown. So I don't know if that's a phobia or not either.
Right.
Because I'm not. I will take a shower. I don't, but I would. I could take a shower.
You're not
If
afraid
I had
of
to,
that.
I would.
I'm not afraid. I just don't choose to do that.
The courage to step out of a plane. I think I might like it. Like if I could be like unconscious and we jump and then it would slap me. You're awake. We're falling. I might be like, oh, that's cool. But that step off to do it. Oh my
Well,
God.
I think one of the things I'm looking at is when you take that step, the question in my head is, am I prepared to die?
Right.
And I am. I'm tired of this.
But well, no, it's not. It's not
I
even
mean,
that.
I'm taking a splat any day, and it's over.
Like when I was in Chicago, I went to the Sears Tower. You're totally encased in. It'd be like if I just fell through one of these walls. It's not going to happen. But I could barely get close to the glass. I'm like, like if two people grab me by the arms and slam me up against the glass, I wouldn't go through it. But I'm still like, oh, if I get too close, I'm going to find that one crack and
Mm-hmm.
See, that to me, like you're getting stuck in the fear.
Oh yeah, totally. The fear overtakes me like crazy.
And that's what you're basically asking people is, does that, the fear of heights is like a phobia or whatever, but, there's a legitimate fear of heights, which
Right.
is just intelligence. And then there's that fear that takes
Abnormal.
over, just like you described, but it takes over as you're on a roof. That fear takes over.
Mm-hmm.
And we all do that with different things. It's just we choose different things to get afraid
Right.
of.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm not necessarily. I am scared of heights, like ladders. I don't like extension ladders. But
You
Yeah.
shouldn't. They're dumb.
right,
I mean, they're dangerous.
I'm just like, how does that work? How is it not kicking out at any second?
Right.
There's no way I'm getting up there. So, but then Lucy and I go on the Space Needle in Seattle, and we're leaning on the glass, slamming
Oh,
glass, and just like, oh
gosh.
my God, it's like we're flying. I mean,
Oh man,
like,
see, I couldn't
I
do
just
that.
have like faith in ingenuity, I guess. I'm like, well, we won't be the first people to have done this.
Right.
It must work. So
Right.
I just feel okay, and I love the view up there. It doesn't make me all
Oh,
skittish or anything.
When I first met J. Cobb Anderson, one of the first things we bonded over, and the first is that we were both born on October 12th. So we're like, oh, we got the same birthday. That was the first thing we bonded over. The second was we, for some reason it came up in a story, but we were both afraid of heights, but it wasn't a fear of falling. It was a fear of jumping. That there's this difference that like we both were like, I just feel like I'm going to jump. And like, oh my
Right.
God, you too? like it which is a little bit different.
Right.
Not everybody can relate to that.
Oh,
but
Totally
there's this,
different.
there's this thing that you put me up on a very high balcony. I'm just so, and a similar thing on like driving over cliffs or whatever. It's not the fear that you're going to accidentally.
Right.
It's the fear that you're going to jerk the wheel and just like, let's
do it. Let's just do it.
And I don't know what that compulsion is or whatever, but it was so fun. It was like the first time I had ever bonded with somebody over that sensation. Like, oh my God.
I felt that coming back from like Charlottesville at times, coming around the mountain. I'm like, God, just don't think about it. If I think about it, I'm going to just jerk the wheel for no reason and just go flying off.
Isn't
And,
that-
and it really is a fear. Like, God, don't think about it. Just stay, follow the car in front of you. Like, don't even think about it.
What is that?
I don't
I guess
know.
they called it a death wish classically. But I'm not sure that's it. And I don't feel like it is a death wish. I feel like it's maybe like a deeper questioning of reality or something like this. I can finally prove this theory correct, or I don't know what. It's a very interesting feeling.
It's almost like you're not calculating the death part of it at the same time.
No, yeah,
There's not death involved when this happens.
Mhm.
'Cause I can kind of relate to it too. That man, I would just, God, I could just jump that right now. Oh, like looking up. Yeah, I've been in some of those situations, and it's just, yeah, you're not really thinking about the death part.
Mhm.
So it's not like morbid like that.
It's not. Yeah, it sounds like it, but it's really not.
One of the proudest, I mean, I've been proud of my brother for a bunch of stuff, but when we moved out of Richmond, there was like a tree branch touching our roof, and the realtor said, you got to cut that tree branch off. And I was like, oh, okay. So I got the ladder, and I looked up there. I was like, got up to the ladder. I could not get on the roof. I was just like, I can't do it. Same thing. That if it had been on the ground, I could have done it.
Easily
it could have been
navigate
twice
it.
as steep. I could have done it. I just couldn't do it. So I called my brother. and said, man, I hate to ask you to do this, but he went up there, and he did it. Came down. I said, man, you weren't scared. He said, man, I was scared to death, but I knew you couldn't do it, so I did it. I was like, oh man, that's love right there. That he's like, one of us has to go up there, and you're too much of a puss to do it, so I guess I'll do it.
That is another interesting thing about human nature. Like, in the service of helping someone else, you can do things
Right.
that you wouldn't be able to do for
Yeah.
yourself.
Because I knew he didn't like heights, but he went up there and he was, very, moving real slow and stuff. But with the song, like, like barely putting any pressure on it. How long is it gonna take? It's almost dark. Shut up! You're not up here. Oh man.
It's good to see all these sweet names in the chat. Hey, Funky Foot first. You got
That's my favorite. Funky Foot first. I was trying
Scooby, good
think
to
of
see
it.
you. I want to click on this now, but I'm afraid I'll get distracted. But she posted a great option for people that want to experience flying without jumping out of a moving plane. And Brenda says, my dad has that, a fear that he might jump.
Wow.
So, I have to ask Kether about if there's any psychological studies into that personality type.
Well, see, it's hard to determine. 'Cause how would you know if somebody did it and had that fear? Like we don't have any no data of how many people that had that fear actually did it. How many people are actually overcome by that and can't control themselves? Am I the only one that hasn't done it? Well, now there's 2 of us, 3 of us, I guess, your friend.
One thing before I forget to say this, that that feeling when you're at a height and you look down and that thing happens in your stomach. It's just such a distinct feeling. And the thing that I find very fascinating is it happens to me in video games too.
Oh, wow.
If I'm traversing over a stick going over and I look down and I see that depth, my stomach does the exact same thing.
Now here's something interesting. Because I only have one eye, I don't have depth perception.
Oh, wow.
So when you look over, you see the depth. I don't see that depth.
Wow.
And because I don't see it, my brain doesn't fear it.
In your stomach doesn't.
I don't do that.
Why do you have any idea
I
why
get,
that?
I get like that when I got to talk to a woman.
Same. Why? What is? Do you have any insight onto what that phenomenon is? Like why, when I look from a height down, that thing happens in my
You're going back
stomach?
to basic fear response things. When you see that depth, you realize how high you are, and you recognize that if you slip or somebody pushes you, you're going to fall that far. So the more you can perceive that depth, the more fear is there. Now, whether you ignore the fear or the fear is there, but some people, that's what we've been talking about. I'm responding to other things that I'm afraid of that you don't even think about.
Well, what is that like specific stomach feeling?
Well, I think that's just a basic physiological thing where you're trying to regroup and you're, catch it, or you're holding your breath or whatever. It's just an innate physical response that your body is going through to react or to get ready for something that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a foreboding physical exertion, I guess. I don't know.
Well, it must be based on, because I don't ever really have the fear I'm going to fall. I just get like I just lose balance. My legs feel like I don't have. I don't remember ever thinking I'm gonna fall because I know I can't fall. Like if you're in a building, you're not gonna fall.
Right.
It's almost like what you're saying. It's a primordial, whatever. Like it's just something in you. Stay away from there. Why? I'm not scared. Well, I'm gonna make you so weak and dizzy. You're not even gonna put yourself in that situation. No, I want to go see. No, I can't walk. Oh, you know. We're trying to save you, moron. Slow down.
You'd be surprised though, like if you did it for a week, you'd be fine with it. You'd be doing it with no hands. You'd be fine.
God,
Just acclimate.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I should
'Cause
test
it-
myself.
Because it's like, I don't know, not like vertigo or something, but that depth perception causing that kind of response is, you know, is overwhelming. Like, but the more you do it, the more you get used to it,
Right.
you know.
Because I'm not scared of flying or anything. Cause I'm not looking out. I mean, the plane could be up high, but I can't really tell, so I don't have that fear.
You don't look out the window.
Or
on
maybe because I'm
flights?
sitting down, so I don't have all that.
Do you look out the window on flights?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe if it was like a bus or a subway, and I'd just stand there, I'd be like, oh.
I've never felt that stomach reaction from looking out the window of a plane.
Yeah, I haven't either.
No, it's different.
It's got to be this untethered potential possibility for plummeting that creates that. But it is that sensation in your stomach is so weird because it's almost like in your imagination you drop, but you're still here,
Right.
and that difference happens in your gut. Like
But it's like diaphragm muscles are like responding to something it thinks is happening
but it's not.
to hold your diaphragm together. Like if you actually were like taking a drop.
Oh
like,
my God.
See,
your
that's-
body's response to kind of
Man.
just clench up, but it's not a super clench. So it's not these top muscles.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's like more just like a subtle.
God, I feel like you're getting me close to understanding.
Muscle contraction around your diaphragm is my guess.
So you think it's just the back part of the brain somehow preparing you?
Eyes seeing that difference of height, yeah, is wired directly to the brain. Brain sees it as a threat, causes that response.
God, that might be it.
Taco Villain says, strangely, I'm not scared of heights in real life. In fact, I often work at heights over 100 feet in my job. But in realistic video games, when I jump on some narrow thing and look down, I get that stomach feeling.
Isn't that
Wow.
funny?
Yeah. That's great when a video game can give you that.
Wow,
kind of
that's
experience.
crazy.
That's what you wanted to do.
There's in the virtual reality headsets, there's an entire app based around this concept where you grab, like, you can even grab a piece of wood or something, so you have like the physical visceral thing under your feet, or you just do it without that. But it basically gives you like you walk out on a plank, like old construction videos.
God.
You ever seen those old black and white videos, like people making the Empire State Building, or like they're all the way up on that scaffolding, like
Steel beams.
on steel beams, just like hopping around, the old pail box lunches or whatever they're eating. They're just legs are dangling, eating a sandwich up there.
I think I've told this before on the show, but we went to this place in New Jersey, some museum in New Jersey, and they have like a construction site set up, like you're hundreds of stories in the air. So they have like a picture that looks like the ground, but you're really only like 5 feet off the ground. And they put a harness on you, and you have to walk like out one beam and around. My friends did it. I could not get, even though I knew I was 5 feet off the ground, looking down, you know, just it was like an image that you were gonna fall. I could barely get like 2 steps out of there. And they
Isn't
were
that
like,
fascinating?
they were like, just go, and I was like, I can't.
Well,
Wow.
can they cut that off for you for a second so you can feel like, oh, I'm just 5 feet off the ground, and
Well,
do
I
they
knew I was
let
only
you go
5
back
feet
and
off
forth? Right. It is so powerful.
The guy that wrote in, I was thinking about what Lex said. Like maybe he's done it so many times, that fear is gone, but he doesn't really know his control with the video as well as he does his own body. So like maybe he has that could. Who knows if that's right or not?
That
but,
makes sense.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if I did it over and over again and I got used to it, but then I like had to get on you're piggybacking me across, and
Right.
I don't know you.
Right.
I don't trust you like I
Right.
trust my own instincts. Like, my stomach would just start going. Hey, Heather, good to see you.
Man, I don't know what that guy does, but man, he deserves a round of applause. He's our new sponsor for the week.
He says what he does. It's really fascinating.
Taco Villain.
Yeah, he says he does electrical work on drilling rigs, and he has to climb all the way to the top
Oh my
to fix
gosh,
the lights.
he's a
sometimes.
Superman.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, dude.
I don't understand. This is tangential, just based off that, but I'll never understand how they create these oil rigs out in the ocean. You'll see these, and they're like anything that they. I don't understand how they make tunnels.
Oh yeah.
Like you go under that tunnel that goes
yeah.
under the water, like, and I've spent hours in my brain. I maybe don't even want the answer because then I won't be able to do this anymore. But like those ocean rigs that are just this big platform. Sometimes you'll see footage of them in these tumultuous storms, the waves crashing up. But like, how do they put that into the sandy ocean floor bottom to make this stable structure that can be there weathering oceanic storms? Do you have any idea how they do that?
Well, it's not a sandy bottom for one thing. It's sands on, it's a solid bottom, and they just
There's a
drill
solid-
they drill into it.
Bedrock,
Oh.
all the way to the bedrock.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's
they-
bedrock at the
yeah.
bottom of the ocean.
Exactly.
Keep going, yeah, eventually. Yeah. May not be the first thing right at the bottom of the ocean, but yeah. Right.
But
Okay.
that's where they're drilling into the bedrock. Because you
Well-
think of the pipe, the pipe's got to go down 150 feet below that.
Yep.
Right.
So you're not even, you're not
Oh,
even.
okay. Okay.
They've dug a lot deeper than. That's the amazing part is how deep they've been able to dig under the ocean.
Under the ocean.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
Technology's pretty amazing.
It is pretty amazing.
It's a good paying job, too.
How do they make a tunnel?
They just have to block off and, make one segment at a time. They just cut it. It's cut off until they can dig under there and clean it out, and then they extend it further out.
Like when you're going to Norfolk or whatever, is that tunnel in the earth or is it in the water?
It's on top of the earth, under the water.
So it's not underground. It's just resting.
I don't think so.
It would make more sense if they just never dealt with the water.
Right.
Just like made the tunnel under the ground beneath the bottom of what the water
They
was.
may
to
have.
begin
I don't
with.
know the background of that.
No, it's outside. It's at the bottom, not under it, like you were saying originally, and it's anchored to the bottom. That whole structure, and it's a big square structure with a tube inside of that.
Oh.
Right.
Because you can get inside that thing, and it's
Your mic's probably powered up by now. You went through that tunnel
yeah.
a lot, right?
But I've seen pictures of like the maintenance sections, and it's a wide area. Like the door, you open this door right here, and you're looking at the cars going by inside the tunnel. But behind you is like a space twice as big as this, with gigantic ceiling. Like it's just all one big open thing.
And the
with a
tunnel's
tube
inside
in-
that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And there's all these gadgets and shit everywhere doing stuff. to
Oh, so they
ventilate.
basically build the shell and they put the car tunnel inside
It's
that.
kind of yep. That's
Oh, see, I always
essentially
thought
what-
the water was pressing right down on the.
I know, me too.
That is way more relieving. I had a little bit of those sensations that we've been talking about at heights going under those tunnels when I was a kid.
Right.
But not the same stomach feeling, but some kind of
Doom.
doom, some kind of impending doom,
It causes
visceral.
It causes traffic. Literally won't be. It's just that mental thing that happens to some people, and they tap their brakes a little bit, even subconsciously. They tap in their brakes, and as they're entering the tunnel, and everyone else responds to
That's
that.
interesting.
Instant
It's like
traffic.
psychological density
Yeah.
that slows you down. You're pulling into it. It's like
4 miles back, it might even be causing an accident.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like this link to that, link to that,
Right.
link to that. But yeah, maybe. But yeah, it happens all the time. You watch 9 times out of 10, the cars going into the tunnel before they going in. Even if there's nothing to respond to in front of them besides driving into the tunnel, they'll pump the brakes a little bit. They're just like, oh, here we go.
That's so interesting.
How far? I don't even know how far that tunnel is. Is it a mile or not?
I'm not sure. Probably a mile.
Isn't there a tunnel that goes from England to Ireland or something like? Isn't there? Don't they have those tunnels now that you can drive all the way?
I don't know. The fun one in Virginia is the Chesapeake Bay Bridge tunnel.
Right. Yeah.
If you get a chance to go across that, that's especially they done it over like a new section of it.
Hey,
like
where's
over
he?
the past 20 years. It's really tall.
Oh wow.
It's crazy.
Scooby says my friend's husband used to work on the Golden Gate and offered to take us up on the walkway with the harnesses and such, but has not done it yet. Might want to book that.
Okay, would you do it?
I don't know. I would. A part of me thinks like with the right company in the right scenario, there's very little I won't do. But a lot of the things I would do very, very uncomfortably. Like I would just be a mess the whole time. But I guess that's like part of the reason you do those things. Why you would jump out of a plane with a parachute or whatever is, like the more your fear is, the greater the endorphin rush of surviving. It's almost.
Now, do you think you would experience a sense of awe jumping out of a plane or walking on the Golden Gate Bridge, or you'd be so fearful that you wouldn't even be able to take it in? I think I'd be so scared I wouldn't. When I got down, I might be able to experience it, but I don't think I'd be able to at the moment.
I can relate to that. I do feel like I would be freaking out so hard the whole time that like I would have to process the awe that I experienced later. Like I think I would be experiencing the awe, but I don't think I would be.
Let's go get a cold beer and experience the awe we just almost felt. It's hitting me now. Whoa.
I guess I'm more like, if I'm doing that and tragedy's about to strike, I might as well see what all this looks like. You know what I mean?
That would be
You know?
the fascinating part of it, is if you did just have that moment of calm where you just resign, let go, all those things, and there's just this moment where you just experience the awe of it. It might happen. I couldn't say for a fact that I wouldn't experience that. The Golden Gate thing's a little bit different.
Wait a minute. I just had a line
Oh, good.
right before that. And I'll dedicate it to a gentleman that just left our planet. Hell, the fall probably kill you.
What?
Robert Redford.
Oh, Robert Redford.
And talking to,
Duvall?
no,
Robert Duvall?
no,
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
That's the movie.
Oh my goodness.
That's the movie, yeah.
and he remember they're on
Paul
the
Newman
the
and
best
Robert
line, the
Redford.
best line in the world. And Paul Newman says, I'm afraid I can't swim. And Robert Redford just looks at him and says, hell, the fall probably kill us. And they grab each other and jump in the water.
Oh, they jump off a cliff into the
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
There you go. There's your image.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm going to bed with, not that damn guy there mooning me. I'm going with Robert and Paul going, hell, the fall probably kill you.
That's
I'm
great.
gonna
That's
come up to your
classic.
house tonight and have Stephanie honk the horn so you look out. I'm gonna be out there mooning you when you look out.
Just make sure it's the right side this time.
Now, Now, if you and Stephanie are taking turns, now you give me a call next week.
I'm gonna go first. Wait about 2 minutes, and Stephanie's gonna do it.
I think the Golden Gate. The only thing I'd be scared of is the amount of work. Like, I wouldn't be scared of the heights. I think that would be really cool. Harnessed in, I trust. Again, I lean on the glass. If the glass is there,
If you trust
I lean on it.
right.
I'm taking that clear bridge out over the canyon or whatever, because I'm like, hey, I'm trusting this. They did this. It passed an inspection. I saw the certificate. But no, I think I would be tired though. I'm like, I don't know if I can make it, and especially down with my bad knee. I can't walk down like that.
Right.
So I would love to do it. I just don't know that I could.
Welcome
You get
to my
stuck
world.
up there, right?
I'd get like 50 steps in. I'd be
Turn
like,
it
yeah,
back.
this is good enough.
I'm not scared. I'm just not physically fit. I'll see you
I
later.
don't want to go to the top. I do, but
Scooby says, never felt more alive than when I landed on the ground after parachuting.
Wow.
tandem.
That's really the moment that you're in it. I mean, not the only one, but for me, like that's where my brain went first when I've been daydreaming about actually doing this. Is that feeling of touching the ground? You just like that kissing the ground. You made it.
Was it because that's when the sense of
Like
awe
she didn't
hits.
say never felt more alive when I was falling through the.
when I was peeing my pants all the way down. Ah!
It's I never felt more alive than when I landed on the ground after parachuting. That's a very important distinction there. It's like I never felt more alive than when I was flying through the air, because that's what I'm sure some people are like that. Like they're sad when they land. They're like, oh, let's go back, let's do it again.
The more I'm thinking about it, mine has something to do with being on my feet. Like I've been on ski lifts and stuff, or where you're standing. I don't fear that. It's almost like I don't trust myself to balance myself. I'm trying to think. I've never been like on a plane sitting down. I'm not scared. Maybe if they had like a chair, I could sit in on the plane, and they just push me out. Like, oh, okay.
It's that mix of your legs turning a little bit to jelly because of your
Right.
brain processing the height, and that combination that you're
Yeah.
now unstable at a height,
Right.
where if you fall, that's a. But if you're sitting, you don't have to
Right.
process any of those other things.
Gosh, I should like run in a wheelchair when I go to high places now. Go up there and humpback rock and just sit on a chair. This isn't scary at all. Looking around. See, humpback rock scares me because I always hear about dudes getting too close to the edge and falling off. And that's the same thing we were just talking about.
stories
Am I going to be the
preceding it.
one that wants to get? Let's see how close I can get. Not noticing that pebble on the side that twists my ankle. And I go to the side.
That's how it happens.
Brenda said, I had that experience of my life flashing before my eyes during a car accident when my car was in the air, but when the car stopped, I wasn't even hurt. And I felt so relaxed, it was weird.
Oh wow.
Oh my goodness.
Now, what's that from all the adrenaline going, and you're just like, you just feel totally exhausted and relaxed?
I guess so. You ever had a life flashing before your eyes moment?
Oh, yeah.
I did when my mom texted me and said she saw me smooching. But tell us your fascinating story. So what was yours?
Oh, I imagine I've had more than one, tell you the truth. I don't know if there's any worth telling, but let's see. Well,
One of my favorite stories of yours is when that car hit you by the park and your dad came over and said, what did you say to him? Let me finish this song. What did you say?
yeah, I was listening to a song on the radio, and it was a good one. He said, "Are you gonna?" He came over and he was really scared, and I just said, "I'm fine. I just need to hear the end of the song."
That's awesome.
But I did have that same moment she mentioned of realizing that after I'd gotten hit, and I was, I had a little Volkswagen that had run up on the side, because if it hit and I'd run into the car in front of me, I'd probably be dead. But it shot me up, and I had the wheel turned, and it shot me up on the ridge there. So, and then it rolled back down, and I was fine. I didn't had my seatbelt on, and so I had that moment of realizing it's so relaxing. That's why I was probably wanting to enjoy the moment that I was still alive.
We were in a, am I remembering this right, that we were in a car wreck together in the snow going back to Frank's Mill from
a racquetball tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody, no, I think I just slid right off the road.
Yeah, it was a turn, but
Yeah.
it was an
I know the
icy
turn,
road.
and real sharp turn, and I turned the wheel, and the wheel
Car
just
kept going straight.
kept right on into the field. We went through a fence, but we didn't hit anything. We were all right, but we had that scare there for a minute. That's a loss of control that you experience when you're like that. But you know, so again, when you say seeing your life pass, but it's those moments where you've lost control and you're not in control anymore, and something's happening to you. That's when you can get that feeling.
Does
That
that
can
really
happen, by
does it
the way, in
really
the middle-
happen though, that
Excuse me?
like if you've lost complete control and you might die, do you really does your life flash before your eyes?
Oh, I know exactly what that feeling's like but I think it depends on time and timing and how you're doing through it. So in other words, if you have time to process, I think you start to look at, what has been important as you play it out. But yeah, I think you have. But sometimes things just happen too quickly, and you're reacting and doing something. But when you're out of control like that, I think you can have all types of experiences with your mind trying to grab onto something, and I think when it's over and you realize you don't have to go. You don't have to recreate your reality again.
Now, do you think that's like Lex was saying, how me getting the weak legs and stuff, it's my body telling me to warning? Do you think your mind, without you even thinking, says, man, you only got 5 seconds, I'm going to overload you with every good memory you've ever had. Like, we're going to reward you before you go.
I don't think your brain's thinking at all. I think it's just...
But you don't consciously have time to say, let me think of some good thoughts.
No, it's just images that are flashing. I mean, it might
People's
not
faces.
be, the script might not be worth a shit. The things you remember might not really be your life flashing before you. They're just images that are coming to your mind.
And they might be different tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
A whole different life flashed before my eyes.
And in the circumstance, if you're in a fire, or if you're in a car wreck, or if you're in a shooting situation, I think you're going to have different images flashing before you.
Interesting.
If you were in Vietnam, you're going to have definite images. A whole lot of those people with PTSD are victims of, they can't control those thoughts. Right. They keep coming back. So, what your mind plays is up to you as an individual. I'm hoping mine will have harmony and a good background, maybe a little slide guitar.
Don't forget a little bit of...
Time check.
Oh my goodness.
No, I didn't even notice.
What is going on?
What time is it?
8:43. We're like 15 minutes over.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, somebody didn't do their goddamn job. I'm going to call somebody because I'm
My life
charging
was starting to
overtime.
flash before my eyes. We were sitting here so long.
Yeah. Well, I had that same goddamn image floating before my eyes that I'm going to have tonight. Thanks to you.
Moon over my
That's a good boy, Percy. I should have brought you down here right from the beginning. It's true the talking heads in the news want to warn you. Everything is parsed, and yeah, but it could get worse, just to keep us tuning in forever. Somewhere, soldiers sitting in the dead of summer, in the ocean on a platform, in the eye of a hurricane. We came, but we could not get it together. Now everybody's gone a little crazy, and when you're crazy, you don't even know you're crazy, 'cause you're crazy. Now this should come as no surprise. Two glazed donut eyes, like balloons that we untie, might just float away, come what may, be gone. People keep asking me rhetorical questions, and then talking before I finish my heartfelt reply. So much sometimes I think I must be. I mean, everybody's gone a little crazy. And when you're crazy, you don't even know you're crazy, 'cause you're crazy. And planes, cars and trains, to me are invisible. I only see the people as they go flying by. Can you believe that? Asleep up in the sky. Multiplied we divide the indivisible, spend all our time fudging the numbers, trying to make it come out equal, no matter what or who we have to hide. And that's why everybody's gone a little crazy. When you're crazy, you don't even know you're crazy, 'cause you're crazy. Yeah, everybody's gone a little crazy. When you're crazy, you don't even know you're crazy, 'cause you're crazy. Well, that worked on several levels.
That could be the theme song for a lot of going on right now.
We'll see you next time. Thank you so much for joining
Thanks for
us.
staying with us.
Yeah, thanks for staying up late with us.
It's so funny because back the first 100 episodes we did, I would always look at I would always know when it was like 5 to 8. I'm like, oh, how are we going to kill this in 30 minutes? But for the last bunch of shows, the first time I look at my clock, it's after the end time of the show.
We had a lot of good comments coming in.
I know the crowd was, the participation was next level. It felt good. Yeah. There was more going on than I was able to read.
I didn't recognize them.
But now that I'm not doing the practice, maybe people are even more people from
Yeah, how's that